These are not the obvious mistakes, not don't wear a costume or don't eat during your interview. These are the realistic ones. The mistakes smart, well-prepared students make because they were preparing for the wrong thing in the assessment. Mistake number 1, reading off a screen. This is the most common deal breaker, and reviewers identify it within the first 10 seconds. When you read from pre-written text, 3 things happen simultaneously. 1, your voice flattens because you're decoding, not thinking. 2, your eyes track left and right in a pattern completely different from a natural recall. And 3, your pacing becomes too consistent. Real thought has irregular rhythm, and reviewer can feel its absence. The problem with scripted answers isn't moral. It's that they produce the opposite of what the assessment is designed to surface. The committee is trying to meet you, and a script prevents that. You're not in the room anymore. It's your document that is. And the fixing isn't memorizing your script better. It's knowing the shape of your story well enough to speak from structure rather than text. We'll cover what that exactly looks like in chapter 4. Mistake number 2, answering from adjectives instead of evidence. For example, I'm a passionate and hardworking team player with a strong communication skill. The issue isn't that the claims are false. The issue is that claims without evidence doesn't score. A rubric asks, does this applicant demonstrate leadership potential? And the answer, I'm a natural leader, answers 0% of that question. Whereas a specific story in which leadership was exercised answers 100% of that question. Every adjective you plan to use should have a story behind it. If it doesn't, cut it out. Mistake number 3, aborting when you stumble. You are going to stumble. A word won't come, or you will realize mid-sentence that you are telling the wrong story. This is normal. Every applicant experiences it. The mistake is letting the stumble become the moment. Students who trail off, freeze, or visibly giving up on an answer are not signaling imperfection. They're signaling something specific about how they handle pressure. And pressure response is a competency. Here's what reviewers actually think when they watch a student stumble and recover gracefully. That's someone who can function when it matters. Composure under pressure is genuinely hard to show in an application. A stumble you push through might be the most honest demonstration of resilience in your entire assessment. Don't abroad, breathe, keep going, and finish a sentence differently. Mistake number 4, skipping the practice session. Kira gives a full practice session before your real questions begin. Record yourself and watch it back. A significant number of students skip this completely because they just want to get over their anxiety and get to the real thing. This is backwards. The practice session is where you absorb your first take nerves. So your first real answer doesn't feel like the first time you're seeing yourself on screen. It's also where you find out if your microphone is muffled, or your face is backlit, or your camera angle points up your chin. 3 minutes practice session prevents problems that cannot be fixed mid-assessment. Mistake number 5, poor technical setup. Bad lighting, cluttered backgrounds, echo-heavy audio. Those don't automatically disqualify you. At the end of the day, reviewers are listening for content, not quality of the production. But here's what actually happens. A reviewer watching in low light works harder to read your face. A reviewer fighting against audio echo has less mental bandwidth for your arguments. Any friction between them and your answer is a friction you introduced. The fix is more simple than what most people think. Have a window or a ring light in front of you, not behind you, not on the side. Have a neutral wall or a tidy shelf behind you. A camera at your eye level. Use books to raise your laptop if needed. A $30 USB microphone is a meaningful upgrade from any built-in laptop mic. None of these requires a studio, but it requires intention. Mistake number 6, memorizing script instead of building frameworks. There's a real difference in preparing and scripting, and it's worth being precise about. Scripting means writing your answer word for word and trying to deliver it flawlessly. Frameworks mean knowing the structure of your story well enough that you can speak from it naturally, whatever the exact phrasing turns out to be. And scripts fail in 2 ways. 1, obviously they sound scripted, which reviewers can detect immediately. And when you lose your place, there's nothing you can fall back on. Instead, try using a STAR method, which is situation, task, action, result. This gives you a shape that nearly fits any behavioral question. You can practice that shape across 10 different stories until it's distinctive. And then whatever question comes at you, you have somewhere to land. Mistake number 7, panicking during prep time instead of structuring. Every question gives you preparation time before you record. Some programs allow 30 seconds, some allow several minutes. Regardless of how long it is, that section has one job, which is to give you time to structure your answer. Students who spend it spiraling, what if I blank? What if the question is so hard? What if I pick the wrong story? All those things burn the one resources they actually have. And here's the prep ritual that actually works. Start with reading the question once, then identify what it's testing, and go on to choose your story, then map 3 beats. The situation, what you did, and what you learned. And that's it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be structured. And that's a meaningful difference. Now that you know what not to do, let's look at what doing it right sounds like. Side by side, exact same question, so you can see the difference. Comment interview below and we'll send you our full free prep guide.